What's up, guys? It's your boy Barca Boy 103. Today we're gonna be doing the match preview for Real Oviedo versus Barcelona in La Liga. Games are now coming thick and fast ahead of the October international break in just 2 weeks time, and we are facing our second newly promoted team to start off the season in the first 6 games of the league campaign. Should be a fairly straightforward match, but you know what, in these type of games, especially away from home, they are quite a challenge and they aren't really a guarantee either. But before we get into it, make sure you guys smash that like button down below and let's try and get to 200 likes on this video. It would be very much appreciated. And also, if you are new, make sure you subscribe down below if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Kickoff time for this match will be taking place at 9:30 p.m. local time, so half an hour later than our usual kickoff time. And this match will be taking place at the Carlos de Tierra Stadium, which is the home of Real Oviedo. A very up-to-date, I would say, stadium, not like your old kind of stadium that we have seen from maybe newly promoted sides in the past. It have a great atmosphere, very congested. I think it holds about 30,000 as well, so it's quite the stadium, to be fair to them, and it will be having a very hostile atmosphere for sure. Let's start off by taking a look at the league table, where Barcelona are currently sat in second place in La Liga on 13 points after playing 5 matches. We have 4 wins and 1 draw. Top of table Real Madrid are in a perfect 5 out of 5 with 15 points on the board. Third place, should I say, Villarreal, 10 points, 3 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. So there is a bit of a gap there, and Espanyol still hanging in there in those Champions League position. It does look like that Villarreal are going to be the next best team following Barcelona, Real Madrid. I think Athletic Madrid will end up cribbing their way back into the top 4. Obviously, they've had a poor start, but it looks like Villarreal could be that team that challenges them, maybe pushing for that 4th spot as well. They look really good to start off the season. Now, if you take a look at the top teams and total to be facing this midweek, of course, yesterday Real Madrid took on Levante and beat them 4-1, so that entails in the league table they're now on 18 points, so we need to win our game. Atletico Madrid will be hosting Rayo Vallecano at the Wanda Metropolitano. So there are some decent games. Of course, this weekend is the Madrid derby, so that could be our chance to crawl our way back into the league title and of course reclaim top spot on goal difference. But again, Madrid are starting to score some goals as well, so we need to have a little bit of a goal fest in this game against Real Oviedo. But so far we are still in a good position. I expect us to be top of the table by the end of this weekend, and hopefully that could be a reality. Now, if you take a look at our opponents in Real Oviedo and where they're currently standing in the league table, they're currently sat in 17th place in La Liga on 3 points after playing 5 matches. They have 1 win and 4 losses. You can look at the last 5 games in the league, 4 losses and the 1 win coming straight in the middle. To be fair to them, I think having a win at this point is huge for their expectations. They're currently not in the relegation zone, but again, very early to say. They are looking like they're going to be in a relegation dogfight throughout this season. They of course got their 1 win against Real Sociedad, who are in 18th place. Of course, our next 2 opponents in La Liga. So far you could say their goal, of course, to survive, and they are surviving, but still a long way to go, and they are looking to be in a deep relegation battle. Let's now take a look at our opponents in Real Oviedo, of course one of the newly promoted sides this season, and they're back in the top flight for the first time in 24 years. And the last time we played them was back in the 2000-2001 season, where they actually beat us. I think it was at the Camp Nou as well, 1-0. Their record against us in the last few games is quite decent. I think it's the 2000-2001 season, also in the 97-98 season. We haven't played them in about 24-25 years, but I saw the recent the last few games, and then they have like 2 wins in the last 6 or something like that. So I've never, of course, experienced a game against Real Oviedo, so this will be my first time as well. So it'll be an interesting match to fair. I think their story in terms of their promotion is absolutely fantastic, and that's why you love football. Now, if you take a look at their last 5 matches in all competition, in their last match they lost 1-0 to Elche, they lost to Getafe 2-0, they beat Real Sociedad 1-0, they lost to Real Madrid 3-0, and they also lost to Villarreal 2 That nil-nil against Leganes is a preseason game. I do want to look at their last few games in La Liga. I'm not going to cover the Getafe match. We talked about it in the Getafe match preview last time. So I'm going to look at the Elche match, Sociedad win, and of course the Real Madrid game as well. And we're going to start off with that 3-0 loss for them. To be fair, I think Oviedo did, hold their own a little bit. They of course lost 3-0. I think the 3 goals coming in like the last 20 minutes of the game. Once Madrid broke the deadlock, Oviedo opened up, which you do expect. You can see how they lined up in this game in the 4-1-4-1 formation. Some familiar names they do have, of course, up front. They have Solomon Rondon, a target man striker that's going to cause us absolute pain. They do have Eric Bailly, who they signed recently, Den Donker in the midfield, Santi Cazorla off the bench, as well as their veteran. It was a game where they did compete. A few chances, if they gone their way, they could have taken the lead in this game. Very much your typical lower team facing a big team. They held their own. They parked the bus, especially in their home stadium as well. But once that goal came in from the big team, it broke them down. But they had their chances. They were a bit more clinical and they took the lead. You never know what could have happened. That atmosphere in that game was incredible. I mean, the Barcelona, I wouldn't say tend to ball it, but maybe it can get to them a little bit. But I would say a loss, of course, on paper, but one that has a bit of asterisk to it. Next up, their 1-0 win against Real Sociedad. Their only points on the board this season, a more forward 4-4-2 formation this game. Den Donker getting the goal, I believe, post 80th minute. It was near the end of the game. Huge win for them. Their first win in La Liga in over 20 years. They held their own this game yet again. They went for the similar approach. Of course, Sociedad on paper a much better side. They were the ones kind of going for it. Oviedo were sitting back, playing deep, trying to cause problems. Their goal came in from a cross as well, and I think Den Donker I think he either headed it or kicked it in at the near post. Remember the play that put in the cross was kind of yelling at the coach to start him, which was a bit of a story in itself, but a huge win for them. This is the reason why they're not in the relegation zone at this point. And I do say this, the defense is very hard to break down, and it made that very clear for Real Sociedad's attack. 5-match all competition, 1-0 loss to Elche, again in a match where you see probably both teams at a very similar level, but Eder Sarabia has gotten Elche moving crazy. I think, of course, Inaki Peña playing his first game, getting his first clean sheet. Hector Ford playing, coming in off the bench as well. Elche being the home team, you do maybe expect them to have a bit of an advantage, but the game was still, I would say, pretty even over the course of the 90 minutes. They did get their goal, Elche. I think they got their goal in the second half. Actually, I'll Google it right now because I am a bit curious into what minute. I remember watching the goal, from Andre Silva very early on, actually, in the 9th minute, and then the game kind of held their own. But Oviedo at least competed. They're not losing games, 5, 6, 7-0, and what you probably expect them apart from the Real Madrid game. They are coming close, even the Villarreal 2-0, Getafe 2-0, so they're not getting battered per se. They are holding their own, but they do lack the goals up front. 1 goal they've scored so far in La Liga this season, the 1 goal coming in from Den Donker. But I do think that their striker can cause us problems, but they are lacking in the final third. But defensively, they are holding their own, but not holding their own enough. So overall, final thoughts on Real Oviedo. They're playing again like your typical lower end side. They are managed by the manager Veljko Paunovic, who's been with them for quite the years now. I think he was the manager that got them promoted from last season. To be fair to him, he's working with what he's got. He is making Oviedo semi-compete a little bit, in my opinion, but of course not enough to even get more than 1 goal or more than 3 points so far in La Liga. In terms of players to look out for me, the main one is the striker up front on loan from, I think he's on loan from a Mexican team, the one starts with the P, like Pacho or Panencho or something like that, and that is Solomon Rondon, a target man striker that will cause us problems. As we all know, that is the kryptonite of Football Club Barcelona. In my time as a fan, that is for me the main point to watch out for. He's going to cause problems and hold up play, problems in the air from crosses, and we need to be aware of him. Let's now discuss some of the injury updates around the first team at Barcelona, some positive news and some absolutely detrimental news. First up on Pau Cubarsí, Carlos Front from Sport came out saying that Cubarsí, who was substituted against Newcastle due to a knock in his knee, has been working with caution since then. Although he is included in the squad list against Getafe, he didn't play. He has now rejoined the group training, and everything suggests that he will be able to travel to Real Oviedo tomorrow. So Cubarsí is looking good. I think he definitely can start this game, pending, of course, training session that happens later on today. But he's looking very good. Another one that's looking good as well is Lamine Yamal. Carlos Front again saying that Lamine Yamal stepped out and said that Sportiva for the first time since his injury, working separately from his teammate and touching the ball after spending more than a week training alone in the gym. The feelings are positive and the progression of his injury invites optimism. For now, he is not expected to be called up for the match tomorrow against Real Oviedo, but the coach staff intention is for him to take part or at least travel and be in the squad for the game on Sunday against Real Sociedad. The main goal for him is to be ready for the Champions League knockout match against PSG, a fixture marked in red on Barcelona's calendar. So Lamine looking good. We'll touch on him in just a few seconds as well. And another one that's looking good as well is Alejandro Balde. Carlos Front again saying that for Balde, the utmost caution is being exercised in the setting for his return timeline. Balde is recovering very well from his injury, and in fact, on Tuesday morning, he rejoined the group to test himself with the rest of his teammates. It was the first time he trained normally again, but he still won't be available for Frick for tomorrow's match against Oviedo, and is very unlikely to be in the match against Sociedad. What the news is this morning from Javi Miguel is saying that Balde and Lamine Yamal will be in the squad list this Sunday against Real Sociedad. Having Balde back for the PSG game is huge because we thought he was going to be ruled out, so him come back a bit early is fantastic. And of course, Lamine Yamal is great news as well. Again, probably get maybe 10-20 minutes against Sociedad, start against PSG, probably the same thing for Balde. So that is two good news. We have two starters returning to the starting lineup for that big game, which is fantastic. There is going to be some bad news, of course, and this comes, of course, in the news of Gavi. Of course, I confirmed to you guys before the Getafe match, I believe that Gavi was going to undergo surgery. The conservative treatment didn't, work out well in the end. 4 weeks wasted. He went under the knife. The surgery was successful, but when they were in surgery, they realized his injury was more serious than expected. Now he's going to be out for 4 to 5 fucking months. Went from 4 to 5 weeks to 4 to 5 months. And this is the problem with conservative treatment. I said it, I think I mentioned it in my news video yesterday. It's pointless. I mean, if we did the surgery then, they would have found that the injury was more serious than expected. He could have been back by this year. But no, we like to bench around and wait around, and so frustrated. I'm absolutely gutted for Gavi. Had a great preseason, fantastic preseason. Started off the season well, got a little bit of a knock in training, and now he's out for half the season. According to reports as well, Gavi is in an absolutely distraught state right now. Javi Miguel came out saying that after the surgery, when doctors informed Gavi that his injury was far worse than initially thought, he broke down, realizing he'd be out for a long time and could even miss the World Cup next summer. His earliest possible return is February, and it's only if there are no setbacks. No one at the club expected Gavi to be out for 4 to 5 months. Even the surgeon couldn't believe what he saw when he opened up his knee. Both the cartilage and ligaments were affected, a true tragedy in every sense, and right now the priority is helping the player recover mentally. So Gavi's on cloud 9. He can't believe he's out for half the year, of course, in a World Cup year. I guess my message is pretty much fuck De La Fuente. I mean, he's the one that caused this. He keeps on, doing things to Barcelona that cannot be recovered at this point. I think now it's officially known that Gavi is injury prone, and that sucks. It really, really does. He's been out now for quite some time, just coming back from last year. I think he had a little bit of an injury last season where he was out for like a week or two, or maybe 3 weeks. But another half season now missed for Gavi. He's missed now 1.5 seasons in the last 3 seasons, which is detrimental. And we saw preseason. I'm absolutely shattered, because this is an important player to our team. And this is why you don't sell Casado as well. Oh, we should have sold Casado. This is why you keep squad depth. It is absolutely imperative, because such shit like this is unpredictable. I wish Gavi an absolutely speedy and healthy recovery, and we will not see him until the new year, and we probably won't see him until the round of 16 in the Champions League. Time now to get into the press conference reaction of Hansi Flick, who spoke this afternoon after the training session in Catalonia at the Ciudad Deportiva Joan Gamper. Let's get and see what he had to say this afternoon in the presser. Firstly, it was asked on Oviedo, and he said that Real Oviedo are a brave team that pushes forward, but for me, what matters is my team and the intensity in every game. We played well in the last 3 matches. Confidence is growing in training, and we need to keep going. Then he asked, of course, on the dimensional injury of Gavi, saying that Gavi has a longer career ahead of him, and that's what we need to keep in mind. He's a player with a huge heart who lives this game with passion. We're looking forward to his return, and we're all supporting him so that he can get back to his best. Then as on the minimal coming second in the Ballon d'Or, it's a motivation for him in the coming years. He takes it positively. He will have a chance to win a Ballon d'Or in the future, and he's also close to returning to the pitch as well. He is in good shape. He has been training well recently. It's asked about Pedri's level right now, so that Pedri's playing at an incredible level, but so is Frenkie de Jong as well, mainly highlighting Barcelona's fantastic pivot. It means a lot when someone like Paul Scholes praises Pedri. For me, it's very important. He, alongside Frenkie, are a set of incredible levels of players. The quality I see in training makes me very happy. As on Balde will not be called up tomorrow. We expect him to be back on Sunday against Sociedad, so confirming what Miguel said this morning as well. Then as on Pedri finishing 11th, so look, it can be debated. Maybe the focus is more on attackers, but when a player of Paul Scholes' stature praises Pedri, it means a lot. He's an excellent midfielder and knows what he's talking about. And I asked about Mark Burnell's participation recently, saying, look, with Mark Burnell, we don't want to take any risks. Against Newcastle, we didn't think it was the right moment, and of course not against Getafe. That right there absolutely sending me, of course, not against Getafe, because he knows about Getafe, and he says we'll go step by step. Asked about Madrid's good start, saying that Real Madrid have started really well. Maybe this year it's harder to win the league than last season, but we have to stay focused on ourselves. Then asked on Frenkie, I'm completely off social media, but any Barca fan can see that Frenkie is a very important player who helps us a lot. Nobody at the club thinks otherwise. And finally, again, he was asked about Gavi's mentally, how he's going to cope with his injuries. Look, if someone's capable of going through such a situation and injury and coming out of it successful, it is Gavi for sure. And that concluded Hansi Flick's press conference reaction ahead of the match against Real Oviedo tomorrow. Let's now get into the lineup prediction. We're going to start with the manager, of course, Hansi Flick. I'm going to try my best to predict this lineup because I think it would be fairly difficult to predict. There are a few changes and choices that Hansi Flick can make. The question is, what will he decide? And I think that Flick will go with this lineup on the screen right now with Joan Garcia in goal, a back four of Jules Kounde, Eric Garcia, Pau Cubarsí, and Gerard Martin, a midfield three of Frenkie de Jong, Pedri, and Dani Olmo, front three of Raphinha, Lewandowski, and Ferran Torres. So from the last game, of course, Fermin is injured, so I think Dani Olmo will come in for him. I also think Cubarsí will return to the XI as well, and he will be replacing Christensen, who started the last game. I think Christian Eric Garcia started the last game against Getafe. There are some other changes he can make. He can, of course, bring Casado back in the midfield. You can have Rashford play back on the wing. But I think the manager Flick's thought process is, you know what, this is going to be a tough game. We see how well defensively they are. It's going to take a while to break down their back line. Go for it early, go full throttle, get that 1 or 2-0 lead before the hour mark, and then rest and rotate. What I see him potentially doing is maybe bringing in Rashford in that front line and then maybe keeping Ferran up top, because Ferran did score a brace. It's kind of hard to bench him. I don't see, again, Casado coming in the midfield. The center-back partnership is the big question, of course. You have Seban Rondon, who's going to be a huge target man, a huge force. We could maybe see Araujo and or Cubarsí start this game. But I think the only question mark for this game is the center-back position and that final attacker with Robert and Rafa. But this is not, I think, the Hansi Flick will select for this match. But of course, in the comments down below, let me know what you think Flick will go with. Now I'm going to show you guys my lineup, what I would do if I was the Barcelona coach, and I have made a few changes from Flick's lineup selection. I have selected this lineup on the screen right now with Joan Garcia in goal, a back four of Jules Kounde, Ronald Araujo, Christensen, and Gerard Martin, midfield three of de Jong, Pedri, Dani Olmo, front three of Raphinha, Lewandowski, and Rashford. So center back partnership, I have brought in both Araujo and Christensen. I think Araujo has done really well against Newcastle, looked okay against Getafe. I think Christensen has looked pretty solid as well. I want to rest Eric Garcia a little bit. He has been playing a lot of minutes recently. With Barça, you don't want to risk anything with him too much. I'd probably start him against Sociedad and then PSG. That's my thought process. Again, with Rondon up front, I do want a bit of height in there. I have gone with Rashford ahead of Ferran Torres. My thought process is I think that Ferran Torres is going to end up getting hooked anyways. I think he won't have the best of game because that's what he does. Hat trick, crap. Brace, crap. Goal, crap. As you know, the Ferran Torres cycle. So I would start with Rashford, even though you could definitely make the case that Ferran does deserve to start. I would start with, the natural team that we do have. Then maybe I think Ferran Torres off the bench to help us get a goal if needed would be much stronger and much more effective, in my opinion. But I think that Rashford from the get-go, with his pace, with his tenacity, with his 1v1 ability, especially out wide on the wing, is a better option. You want to start Ferran up front? Sure, I don't mind. But on the wing, I think right now Rashford is in better form. He has some confidence in him. Let's just hope he doesn't arrive late to training the day of the match. But this will be the line that I would select for this match. And of course, though, in the comments down below, let me know if you rather pick my lineup or Flick's lineup. Time now for my score prediction. What do I believe the result will be in this match? I am predicting a comfortable scoreline win for Barcelona of 3-1. For some sort of reason, I feel they're going to concede. I hope we don't. I just have that feeling. I think this match will be not comfortable, but we should get over the line. Actually, the first 20 minutes being quite tight with the atmosphere, Barcelona trying to break them down. I think that Barcelona will go 1-0 up, 2-0 up. I think then Real Oviedo will pull one back to 2-1, and then we score again 3-1. I know they've only scored 1 goal in La Liga this season, but that's always the stat. Oh, this team sucks at scoring, oh, this and that, and they end up scoring against Barcelona. But we still end up winning majority of the time. So I kind of feel like they will score, although I do have a trillion% faith in Joan Garcia. I think the defense in front of him will maybe cause a bit of question marks. And again, with I think Flick not starting Araujo and Christensen, I think that Rondon will be a bit of a problem, especially in that first 20 minutes, half an hour or so. But fairly confident about the win. We should be getting the win. Anything but the win is going to be embarrassing. So I have predicted Barcelona to win this match 3-1. But of course, in the comments down below, let me know what you think the scoreline will be. So that's our match preview for Real Oviedo versus Barcelona in La Liga. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, make sure you drop a like down below, and of course in the comments down below as well, let me know your thoughts on everything we did discuss. The main thing I want to first see, of course, is your score prediction, and secondly on those lineups. Firstly, would I pick my lineup or Flick's lineup? What do you think Flick would go with? What would you go with if you were the manager? Leave me all your thoughts down below, and of course make sure you guys subscribe down below as well if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the live watch along. Set the reminder on the screen and come and join me and watch the game with me. Fall straight after the match by my match review. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Let's get nothing but the 3 points. Take care and Forza Barca.
Yeah.